Hey everybody, this
Cool.
is Dwight Peters from quarterwaters.com, the site for social entrepreneurs. Where social entrepreneurs come on the program, they talk about the issues they're tackling, the impact they're making, and share helpful business tips along the way. If you're watching this program, it's because you want to change the world through the power of business. You came to the right spot. Now, today on the program, I have with us Chris Brereton, the founder of Picture Healing. Picture Healing is a photo sharing app which allows users to earn donations for their favorite charities simply by sharing pictures. Chris, welcome to the program, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. Stoked to be here.
No problem, man. Did that sum you guys up, really?
That was great. Yeah, you did better than most.
Thanks, man. But,
pull that off our website?
Go again?
Did you pull that off our website?
No, not actually off your website. You know, I do a lot of research before I do interviews, and
Okay.
I will pull up different press quotes and see which one fits best for the type of interview that I'm trying to have.
I like it. I like it.
Awesome, man. So we got into what Picture Healing is, but if you want to expand a little bit more for our viewers that aren't familiar with it, as I told you in the pre-interview, I just downloaded the app today. What is Picture Healing?
Picture Healing is a lot like Instagram meets Foursquare. As we found out today, Instagram sold to Facebook for $1 billion.
$1 billion.
So hopefully most people know what that is at this point. But basically you can take and share photos to multiple social networks at once. By doing so, you're raising money for your 3 favorite charities. The next big question everyone asks is, well, where does the money come from then? Considering that the app is free to the users and free to the charities. We're actually filming a video in the back room here at the Apartifice explaining that question.
Awesome.
But what we do is sell advertising and cause marketing campaigns through the application as our main revenue source. But we're also offering print sales and other means of revenue like merchandising and e-commerce opportunities. But basically we like to partner brands with charities and create an opportunity for them to market alongside of a cause that they're passionate about.
Awesome, man. And you guys just launched in October, right?
We did a soft launch in October, and then we took it out of the market really quick, and we relaunched in February.
Matter of fact, you know, I was going to go in another direction, but why not? I'm going to follow up with that. So you took it off. What did you guys learn from the soft launch, and how important is it to have a soft launch?
The soft launch was huge for us, actually. We thought we were going to finish about a month beforehand, so we gave ourselves a month padding before we launched. And then once we launched, we just ran into some bugs and some scaling issues right away. So having that soft momentum and kind of launching locally really gave us an opportunity to find some of the big pitfalls immediately and take it out of the market and make sure that user experience was a lot better when we re-released.
What were some of the feedbacks that you guys were getting? Like, how did the original version or the soft launch version differ from today's version?
It sucked.
And the reason why I ask these questions is, I don't want my program just to be the fluff, just the glimmer of, yeah, we made it. No, like, I love to get into the details of the trial and the tribulation, quote unquote, of how you get to a finished product, and some of the frustration and some of those moments of feeling overwhelmed. Of how do you end up creating a great product?
That's awesome, man. I think that's so important, and I wish there was more resources like that when we were starting, because it's so true. Like, you hit a number of walls along the way, and that's kind of the point of refining and redefining what the product is. And when you say finished product, I don't think there ever will be an actual finished product. It kind of morphs and grows, and as users react to it and experience it and really play with the idea, it kind of becomes something even bigger and better as that grows. But we originally launched a totally different model about 3 years ago, also called Picture Healing. It worked well, but it wasn't nearly sticky enough. So we morphed into the mobile space right about the time Instagram came out. They kicked our butts, but it ended up being a blessing in disguise, because now everybody knows what photo sharing is and what the point is. But on that same vein, we had released more of a photo bucket model, if you will, where it was a backup and storage website.
Okay.
Or almost like a Snapfish kind of website. But people just weren't using the internet the same way once that was released, and it wasn't something that everybody did every single day, and there wasn't really a social component to it, which was obviously where the internet has been moving. So we originally sat down to create a photo sharing app specific for Warped Tour and Music Saves Lives for a campaign. And in that meeting with our development team, I realized we're doing this completely wrong. Like, the whole thing needs to go to that experience. That shouldn't be a secondary to the website. So that's kind of what happens along the way. And in the tech world, we always say pivot, you know, like we pivoted into the app space. But, you know, that's part of using and launching something, releasing something, or as Seth Godin says, ship it, you know. You're not going to learn that until you hit the wall, until you take a dive in that pool, you know. So it's important to dip your toe in, and if you get slapped, it's okay to fail. That's part of the learning experience.
And fail quick to add to that.
Yeah, fail quick, fail often.
Yeah. You know, you had an interesting story. I'm surprised you're not drinking coffee right now. No, you're see, there you go. You beat me to it. But you had an interesting story, man. Let's talk a little bit about how you made a transition. You know, you had a pretty, if I can say, you had a pretty good life compared to others. You know, you had a nice paying job. You know, you're driving some nice vehicles. You know, how did you make that transition to what you're doing today, man?
I grew up doing what I loved doing, which was playing in a rock and roll band and singing and playing in different states all the time. And that was a ton of fun. And when I came home, I don't know how I got into the role of suit and tie marketing director boy and hiding all the tattoos, but I did. And the paycheck was great. You know, when you're 21 and making over $100,000 a year, you're feeling good about it. But I realized at the end of the day that that was it. That was kind of the whole package. And if I'm going to continue doing that till I'm 65 years old and take a cruise and die, like, what's the point of all of that? You know, at the end of the day, all I was doing was working for a paycheck, and I just lost it. Like, I couldn't do that anymore. My best friend in the world, John Parker, woot woot, shout out, is a leukemia survivor. I lost my cousin Kyle a couple years back at age 24 to leukemia. And I have an uncle who is in his 50s and was just pronounced in remission, which is awesome. But this originally was going to be a leukemia benefit. So that's why I decided to quit my job. I'm like, I'm going to champion leukemia. I'm going to do something. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be technology based, and it's going to incorporate my marketing abilities, and it's going to raise money for leukemia. And as I was talking to people and kind of bouncing ideas off people, it really came up that, you know, they would do the same thing if it were for animals, or if it were for children, or, you know, childhood obesity, whatever their issue was that they were interested in. And that really kind of sparked this idea that it doesn't have to be about my passion necessarily, but how can we incorporate everybody's passion into it? Which, you know, in business, I always say distribution's everything. So once we opened the door to multiple charities, we also opened up the distribution channels massively. So it was really, really good to step on myself to get to that point. But
awesome, man. So all right, so you guys come up with this idea. Your idea made some transitions. But what was the first initial step?
The first step was deciding to quit. Just quit your job and do it. I'm kind of an all or nothing guy. I say high highs and low lows. But taking the leap is massively important. Unless you're all in, no one else is going to be all in, you know. We've been so fortunate from that day that I quit my job to put a team of founders together who have been completely all in. Everyone's dumped their 401ks down the drain. We're up to about 9 people now, and everybody at this point is all volunteer. A lot of people have all quit their jobs. If they haven't quit their day jobs, they're working full-time at night. It's just been an amazing experience and an amazing group of people who have all dedicated themselves to this vision. And without that all-in kind of mentality, it really doesn't work, in my opinion, I guess. There are some people who pull it off as a side job until it's big enough to ramp up into full-time. But, you know, if you're looking at getting into a space and really enveloping yourself and learning it to the extreme that you need to, it's really hard to do that part-time.
All right, awesome. How are we on time? Are we good on time?
I'm totally fine, yeah.
All right, cool.
Well, I'm
cool.
yours.
All right, so, you know, I try to walk my viewers through as many influential moments of the social entrepreneurs I have on my program. So you quit your job, but you had experience in the tech world? I know you had marketing. Exactly. So how was that, getting over that boundary? And what advice would you have for somebody that wants to make a social app or make an app? What did you look out for?
find a tech co-founder for one, find somebody who knows it, and just live in that space. You know, read every blog you can, go to events. There's tons and tons of events to go to and meet people. Meetup.com is a great resource for that. But there's, you know, a million things happening in the tech landscape, and there's a lot of noise, and it's kind of hard to break through that by just reading the blog. So get out and shake some hands and slap some asses, kiss some babies. You know, you
gotta do.
You gotta meet some people. You know, you can't do it from your bedroom. So
get out there. So you guys get this. Other than the different reiterations of the app, what has been some of the challenges you guys have came into contact with?
Sure. I think our biggest challenge is messaging. The app is sort of just a vehicle to the business.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're doing a million other things behind the scenes and spinning a ton of plates. So,
but I like when you say that. You said that the app is just a vehicle to the messages. So what is the main message that you guys are trying to get out there?
What we're really trying to do is be a massive resource to the nonprofits that we work with to help them fundraise and create awareness. Nonprofits typically work at peak capacity and don't have, you know, extra staff to put in time to learn things like the tech landscape. Some do, most don't. So we're really trying to kind of put our foot forward for them. And that's, you know, only one aspect of what the company ends up having to do at the end of the day. We've got 3 clients, essentially. One's our users, you know, like you guys. One is the brands, but the biggest one is the nonprofits.
Yeah.
So we have to recraft our messaging based on who we're talking to all the time. And that's kind of the biggest challenge, is how to explain the services that we provide depending on who we're explaining them to.
Yeah.
So that's something we're still trying to overcome every single day. We're simplifying more and more and more, but it's definitely a process.
I'm excited for you guys because, you know, I could see how far and how big this can actually get, man. And I know you guys are going to rip it. Bring me back to when you guys got your first, can I say first contract, but when you got your first go at this, when you guys got your first brand, your first advertiser to sign off on that, what type of feeling did that evoke? And what would you have done differently now?
Sure.
That you know?
Well, I guess that's a really fun question, because the first time we signed a big contract, we ended up losing it because we couldn't perform fast enough. So obviously there's the excitement, let's go out for beers and celebrate, high five, woot woot kind of thing. And then the real work begins. And that actually just recently happened. And we kind of ran out of time. We got in a little bit too late this year with the release for the ad agencies and the planning budgets and stuff. So we've been shaking some trees and running after brands directly. But our big take home from that is that we need to be focused a year ahead of time and focused with the agencies more so than the brands directly. At the end of the day, the brands have so many people in the chain that need to make decisions and let them trickle back down that they can't move quick enough for some of these campaigns and these events these charities are doing. That's not to say that they don't want to be part of it. It's just a matter of when they'll be part of it and how to plan that in long-term sense.
So how have you guys been able to, you know, you have a background in marketing. How have you guys been able to use social media effectively to create the buzz that you guys have?
We've just been genuine. One thing that I stress to everybody here, all the gurus, is keep your own voice.
Yeah.
And everybody has access to the social media accounts. It's not just one person doing it. So we've been really focused on community, and we've been really focused on just genuinely being present. I think, you know, being present, you have to be present to win at the end of the day kind of thing. And allowing each other to have our own voices and really shape the company in a number of different directions has allowed the company's personality to be really deep at the end of the day.
Definitely, man. When you guys started, the terminology social entrepreneur wasn't really a popular one, was it?
It wasn't even, I mean, I hadn't heard it, may have been around, but I was just a baby.
You know, and now look what you're actually within it, man. How do you feel about the growing trend now of social entrepreneurs?
I love it. I think one of the coolest things, especially coming from the wealth management marketing world to the social entrepreneurship landscape, is that people are so collaborative and willing to help out and dive in and really put themselves on the line for other companies.
Yeah.
we've been working with some really, really amazing companies that we're essentially in competition with at the end of the day for the same marketplace, but we do different things. So why not support each other in that process? And that's one thing that's been so different about this landscape and so warming.
Yeah.
It's amazing, you know, like everyone's hand holding instead of chasing each other or competing.
Exactly, man. And because we're all trying to make an impact in some way.
Exactly. We all have the same end game goal.
Yeah.
We can help each other get there. That's beautiful.
All right, so I understand, and my viewers will understand. You guys work with nonprofits, but how do you guys, or what metrics are you guys using to gauge the impact you're creating?
That's a great question. Another one that we're constantly evolving.
Yeah.
One of the big things right now, while we're pre-revenue and don't have a lot of money to contribute to the nonprofits, is how do we create awareness on a grand scale or get people involved at least on a lower level? One of my core philosophies that I constantly keep preaching about is that exposure breeds opportunity.
Yeah.
And I was having this talk the other day with somebody about, you know, executives in their high rises that don't get the chance to get out in the world or get out of their car on the traffic ride home to see what's happening and the impact that needs to happen. And these corporations who are just consuming with no responsibility or even realizing who they're consuming from at the end of the day just keeps them inside those walls.
Yeah.
But we're really focused on creating that exposure and really creating a community and an offline community that gets to see and gets exposed to these nonprofits and what they're working on. So we're doing everything, like I said, from Warped Tour stuff to, you know, little tiny events with Shoes That Fit at Central City Community Outreach, where 300 kids come and get a pair of shoes and a turkey dinner on Thanksgiving. And we're really building opportunities for volunteers to come be part of that, but then we're also exposing that online as well.
Awesome, man. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
What advice would you share with, I don't want to leave anything out, and I say this in every interview, I realize that, but it's because, like, I really, you know, but whatever advice would you share with social entrepreneurs that are watching this program?
Start with passion.
Yeah.
I got to talk at USC Marshall School of Business over the weekend, and that's kind of how I started the whole talk. But I think at the end of the day, don't do it just to do it because it's a trend. Don't do it because you think it's going to give you a value proposition over another product. People will see that clearly and quickly. Everything is so transparent that if you're just doing this to be part of the trend or be hip and with it, we'll catch you and then won't be friends with you. Yeah. But definitely, you know, if you can find a passion and turn that passion into something that changes the world, then that's amazing. One of the things that came up in the speech when I was talking back and forth with the audience was sailing. This guy loved to sail. So how do you turn sailing into something that can be life-changing for, you know, anybody? Typically, sailing is a more affluent kind of leisure. Yeah. But how can you turn that affluence into education for, let's say, underprivileged children in the city that have never even maybe seen the ocean? Yeah. And the opportunity's there. Just about anything you want to do, you can turn into a business if there's a marketplace for it. And if that's fitting inside of your passion, then that's even cooler. You're going to love it. You're going to learn a lot. Yeah. and you're going to change who you are quite a bit as well along the way.
Passion, man. You know, I can't say how many times the social entrepreneurs that come on this program, that's always the first answer. Passion.
That's good.
Passion.
See, that's what's cool about this space, man.
Yeah. You know, so am I leaving anything out, Chris?
I guess the one thing that I wish I had heard more and more before I started this company was build good teams.
Yes.
That's been imperative to Picture Healing, and I think imperative to any company. We talked about, you know, pivoting from one product into another and realizing those opportunities really comes from having a team that's strong enough to understand the vision and not get trapped in the day-to-day. Yeah. And having the right people in place to ask questions and pose problems and really challenge each other is...
Wait, hold on. I think I probably just skipped over one of the biggest questions, and you're right. How did you get your team to quit their job along with you? Like, how do you inspire several individuals to say, you know what, let's do it?
You know what? I think it goes right back to passion. And at the day, like when you sit and talk to me, you realize for sure that I'm all in on this, and you can be a part of it if you want to be a part of it, and if you don't want to be a part of it, I understand.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
if you do, jump in. Let's do this.
And let's
Uh,
crush it. Yeah.
and we've been able to meet some amazing people, and we've been really, really lucky with where they were in their lives. We're all pretty much super young. A couple of us were in transition between jobs.
Yeah.
A couple of us weren't happy where we were at, and it
Seemed like perfect timing.
made sense for them as much as it did for the company. And people took the jump. It's all about, again, exposure. So if you can get out there, shake some hands, and meet some great people, that's how you build teams.
Awesome, man. Chris, it's been great having you on the program, man. I'm a big fan of what you guys are doing, man. And, I got the app, so my viewers will definitely see me with it.
Cool.
Any
cool.
last words, Chris?
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Thanks for helping us spread the love.
No problem, man. This is what I do, man. I'm trying to get your guys' stories out there, man.
Cool. Well, anything we can do to help along the way, reach out. My email is chris@picturehealing.com. I'm the one who's usually on the Twitter @picturehealing. Feel free to reach out anytime. We're really open and accessible.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Chris from Picture Healing.